Schweizer is out with a damning new report that shows during Hillary Clinton's time as Secretary of State, well, she helped create a technology partnership with Russia that could have put America's national security at risk. Now, Schweizer explained some of his findings in a Wall Street Journal article saying, quote, Clinton's handling of major technology transfer initiative at the heart of Washington's effort to reset relations with Russia raises serious questions about her record. Now, far from enhancing American national interests, Mrs. Clinton's efforts in this area may have substantially undermined U.S. national security. Now, the report also finds that over a dozen companies involved in this deal with Russia donated money to the Clinton Foundation or sponsored speeches given by Bill Clinton. Now, we did reach out to Hillary Clinton's campaign, her campaign chairman, John Podesta, and the Clinton Foundation for comment, but they have yet to respond. Anyway, joining us now with more is the author of the New York Times bestseller, Clinton Cash. It's now out in paperback, also in a movie, Peter Schweizer. All right, I read this all very, very carefully here. Let's go through this slowly because it gets complicated, as they always do. So, sure. Hillary Clinton is the Secretary of State. She has a Russian reset initiative, correct? And in the course of that, she is appealing to Silicon Valley that they work with Russia in terms of a transfer of technology that is dual technology. In other words, technology that can be used for some purposes, but also military purposes. Correct? Am I right on this so far?
Yes, that's right, Sean.
All right, pick it up from there. Explain where it goes from there.
Well, the idea, the theory behind this is that we provide technology and have this initiative with the Kremlin, and it's going to strengthen relationships between the United States and Russia. It's kind of like during the Cold War, the theory behind détente. The problem is that the 28 American companies who participate in this initiative, of those, 17 of them are major Clinton Foundation donors, and on the Russian side, the person that's running this Skolkovo initiative and some of the participants are also giving money to the Clinton Foundation. So it's an example of sort of a crony relationship, or the people that are participating have financial ties to the Clintons.
Orchestrating this transfer of technology, supposedly not for military purposes, but they're dual. In other words, they can be used for military purposes. 17 of the 28 people in Silicon Valley are Clinton Foundation donors, and then you got these Russian oligarchs. How many of them donated to the Clinton Foundation?
Well, there's 4 or 5 that we can identify, including Viktor Vekselberg, who is close to Putin and is running this Skolkovo initiative. He's a Clinton Foundation donor, as is a gentleman who's running the nuclear cluster at Skolkovo, is a Clinton Foundation donor as well.
All right, how many of these Skolkovo donors also brought Bill Clinton in and paid him money for speeches, and how much was he being paid?
Lots of them were. Cisco, for example, not only pays Bill Clinton for speeches. When Hillary Clinton leaves as Secretary of State, one of the first things she does is a $325,000 speech for Cisco. So there's this intertwining relationship, foundation, speaking fees, participants, and then lay on top of that, Sean, the national security implications of it. Hillary gets this program up and running. You've got this technology going to Russia, and the U.S. Army comes out with a report and says, wait a second, the beneficiaries of this technology, we believe, is actually the Russian military. A lot of this technology has application that they can use.
So she's the Secretary of State. You've got this technology transfer. She's encouraging investors to fund the Russian research in this particular case, helping the Russians, all part of, again, the reset that we know all failed, and a lot of it can be used for military purposes. How badly do we know, or what do we know about how our military or our technology or our security has been compromised in the process of this?
Well, the U.S. Army says that at Skolkovo they are developing an for a hypersonic cruise missile, which to me does not sound something particularly good for the United States. On top of the U.S. Army, the FBI came out and actually wrote letters to the companies participating in the initiative, including, by the way, an energy company upon which Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, John Podesta, sat on the board. The FBI, in its letter to these companies, said, you need to know, we believe the ultimate beneficiaries of this technology is going to be the Russian military. So you've got two major institutions, the U.S. Army and the FBI, saying this has bad national security implications for the United States.
Let me go back.
Those warnings are basically ignored.
Let me pull the lens back, look big picture here, because you chronicle all of this in the book, and we spent a lot of time talking about the money the Clinton Foundation has gotten from countries like Saudi Arabia that discriminate against women, that kill gays and lesbians just for being gay and lesbian, that persecute people. You can't build a Jewish temple or a Christian church, so they're against women, gays, lesbians, Christians, and Jews. But up to $25 million of the foundation, $10 million to the Clinton Library. And to what extent do you think now our law enforcement, because we never got an answer from Comey as to whether or not the Clinton Foundation is still being investigated, to what extent do you think all of this is being investigated?
I can tell you, Sean, I can't go into detail, but I can tell you on personal experience that I know the FBI is investigating the Clinton Foundation.
They're doing it now. They're doing it today. Have they questioned you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'd rather not talk about that, but they are doing it at present.
All right. I won't press you any further. I understand. Thank you. Appreciate it, Peter.